Welcome to Agba's Epic Tales. The title of today's story is The Madman by Buka. Kunle'S sells the tastiest local dishes in Chiniko streets. Thinking of eating any of the popular swallows with different kind of African soup? Then you will find it in Kunle'S Buka. Kunle'S Buka is always filled with customers on a daily basis. People from far and near would usually come to Chiniko Street to eat at our Buka. What astonishes people is that 65% of these customers were no ordinary men, but men of timber and caliber. Big businessmen, councillors, local government chairmen, commissioners, you name it. Rumor even has it that the governor of the state also sends his personal assistant to buy food from Kunle'S Buka for him on a daily basis. People who haven't tasted our food before wondered what could be so special about our food that made even important men flock into our Buka every day. But when these people taste our food, they also get hooked up. There is a particular madman who is always at the side of the Buka. He looks so dirty and smells badly. He never goes away. Morning and night, he lurks around the Buka. Every day, at the peak of sales when many customers are eating in the Buka, the madman would enter inside and start going from table to table, asking all who is eating to give him their food. When they try to chase him away, Kunle and our waiters would stop them. God sends angels as mere and ordinary men in disguise. He might be an angel in disguise. We help such people here and don't send them away, Kunle would usually say to our customers. These are waiters to say to them as she had taught them what to say. After hearing that, these customers would usually offer to buy the madman food, but he would insist that he wants the food the customer is eating. Kunle would encourage them to give him what he wants, reminding them of the possibility of turning to angels. Most of these customers would leave their food for him and order for another plate. For those who refused to succumb to the madman's demand and not leave their food for him, he would spit in their food, making it unable for them to continue eating the food. This made some customers want to just do takeaway and not eat at the Buka. But Kunle's law is that whoever that is doing takeaway must first eat there before she could sell the one for takeaway to them. One would have thought that these strange events at the Buka would make people stop patronizing Kunle, but the more our customers grew. Among these many customers of Kunle, 90% of them were male, and so many wives and mothers whose husbands and sons patronize Kunle were uncomfortable with how things are. The fact that their husbands and sons patronize Kunle'S Buka on a daily basis despite having food at home is something that didn't sit well with them. But they could do little about it other than complaining and trying to stop their men from going to the Buka, which in most cases yielded no results. One of such women was Jacinta, a young, beautiful lady in her late 20s who is also a medical doctor. Dr. Jacinta was engaged to be married to her fiancé, Barrister Bamidele. Her first experience with Kunle'S Buka was 3 months ago, when her fiancé had told her about a restaurant that he had just discovered that sells excellent local dishes, and he insisted that they go there for lunch. they arrived at the Buka, Dr. Jacinta felt uneasy. The air around the place felt weird. As she stood there, wondering why she was feeling that way, suddenly, the madman came out of the Buka, dancing and laughing. And then, immediately, he danced back inside again. Jacinta was taken aback and withdrew from entering inside. What was the madman doing inside the Buka? And why is no one trying to stop him? Jacinta questioned her fiancé. Just ignore him. That's what he does every day. Let's go inside and have a good meal, Barrister Bamidele said, trying to lead his fiancée inside. Every day, you say? This happens here every day and you still come here, Jacinta said in utter disbelief. I have told you that he is harmless. Why are you making a big deal out of this? You can leave if you don't want to have lunch, Barrister Bamidele said angrily and walked in, leaving his fiancée outside. Dr. Jacinta couldn't believe all that was happening. How could her fiancé and every other person in there not see anything wrong with having a madman this dirty, unkempt and smelling, walking in and out of the restaurant every day? She decided to wait for her fiancé by their car where it was parked few meters away. Soon she spoke to a man who had come out of the Buka and whose car was parked close to theirs. Are you not bothered with the presence of the madman every day while you eat here? Oh no, he might be an angel of the Lord in disguise, and that is why we don't chase him away and let him eat with us instead. Remember, Jesus Christ asks us to feed him by feeding others who are also in need and need our help, the man replied Dr. Jacinta. That night, Jacinta couldn't sleep. She called her fiancé's mother to complain about what had happened in the day. All advice and efforts by his mom, elder sisters, and few other elders in their lives to stop Barrister Bamidele from patronizing Iya Kunle proved abortive. At this stage, Jacinta realized it was not ordinary. Some of her friends and colleagues who had heard of the issue before now advised her against taking any spiritual step. According to them, people who are taught same way like her in the past and are taking a spiritual step ended up disappointed, as the different pastors, prophets, and various spiritualists they are taking to the place declared after praying that there is nothing diabolical about Iya Kunle and the madman, and that she is right for feeding the madman and encouraging her customers to do the same. However, Jacinta would not believe them. She knew there was more to it and would not accept all they said to her. She discussed it with her pastor, Pastor James, and together with the church prayer group, a prayer warfare was waged for days. After 14 days of praying and calling on God to intervene in his mighty power, they set off for Iya Kunle's Buka. On reaching there, Iya Kunle ordered her staff and thugs to chase them away before they could even get close to the entrance of the Buka. Why won't you let me be and allow me to do my business in peace? Please go away, she yelled at them. We don't have to come in. God moves mightily from any direction, and today we will set all these men you have held captive free, Pastor James declared. And then immediately he and his group began to pray. As they prayed, the thugs and staff Iya Kunle had sent at them started dropping their weapons and withdrawing surprisingly. Then the madman came out and began shouting at them. Hey there, enjoying the story? Then you might want to subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories. We post captivating and exciting traditional and modern folktales 3 times every week. You should also turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we post a new story. Very well then, now that you've done that, let's dive right back into our story. Then the madman came out and began shouting at them. "Why are you troubling me? I am only doing what she begged me to do," he yelled at Pastor James and his group. The customers in the Buka wondered what noise that could be, and so they came out to witness what was going on outside. Also, people from the streets began to gather at the scene. Jacinta, Pastor James, and his team continued praying. "She came to me to make her very wealthy through her food business, and that is all I am doing," the madman disclosed. "And to make it happen, I have to be here at all time and eat from the food she serves her customers," the madman continued. Everybody was surprised. Everybody began to shout and started throwing stones at Iyakunle, shouting at her to confess. Iyakunle admitted that all that came out of the mouth of the madman is true. She said she had gone to a strong juju man in a far village years ago when her business was not moving and she was struggling to survive. After performing all the ritual required of her, the juju man had told her that a madman had to be at her Buka every day and eat from her customers' plates to complete the ritual process and give her the kind of wealth she desired. She said she had objected to the idea, knowing how unnatural it would seem to everyone around, and begged for another option. But the juju man had told her that it was the only way. At that junction, she had decided to back out of the whole juju process. But the juju man had warned her that it was impossible, as she and her entire immediate family would run mad and eventually die if she did. She was assured by the juju man to just follow his instructions and assured her that everything would go well. She said the pastors, prophets, and spiritualists who had come to stop her in the past were unable to, because some of them were just mere men who doesn't have a close walk with God, and so they had been warned by the madman in secret to take their hands off his business. After the confession, the madman fell and disappeared. Though it was a very hot afternoon, everybody at the scene was cold and shook in fear and disbelief. Iyakunle was arrested and later sentenced to life imprisonment by the state judge. However, she died a year later in prison with an outrageously swollen stomach and legs. The end. Let's see what moral lessons that can be learned from the story. An important moral lesson to note is that wealth gotten not by hard work but by fraud and diabolical means would not last. It usually results in a shameful and disgraceful end. Secondly, it is important to note also that it is good to be discerning, prayerful, and have a true walk with God, as it helps us not to be prey to any evil forces. What other moral lesson do you think is worthy to note in the story? Please share in the comment section. See you in our next video. Bye.